Good morning and welcome to Buddha's in Your Landfill. I just come to do this talk when I get a good inspiration. Excuse me. And right now the preliminary talks to Kavanaugh is going on. And I was struck this morning when I was watching the morning news, conversation between a talk show in the news and the senator, and questioning Kavanaugh's emotional outburst during his hearing, which he wrote an op-ed about, apologizing for saying, well, I was over the edge. And the left view is that makes him unfit. And the right view is, looking at the same facts, is that, well, under the circumstances, because he was being falsely accused, standing in front of his family and his reputation, that was excusable. It was understandable. And so you go on down the line, and all of the facts fall onto either one or the other end of a seesaw. So the title of this talk is The Hell of a Polarized Society. And here's our little seesaw with the left on one end and the right on the other end. And the same facts, and not just of Kavanaugh, but everything that rises into the news immediately polarizes into the seesaw. And whatever the facts are, they shape around the truth of your end of the seesaw. Same facts. And we get, each end of us, and we get angry because the other end of the seesaw won't see the truth of the facts that we're both looking at. So it's not that facts are unquestioned. It's that the reference for the meaning of the facts is, excuse me, the reference for the meaning of the facts is determined by our position on the seesaw. So whatever rises is going to be perceived from the reference of the seesaw. So the reference is not the same for the left and the right, the polarity of our society. And everything polarizes. Now I look at this from a Buddhist meditative point of view, and the goal, the reason for my spiritual search and my going into meditation and the study of the mind, consciousness, which is what Buddhism is, Zen, the study of my own mind, not your mind, not mankind, not psychology, but me. Who am I? What is this mind? Why do I suffer? And I suffer because my mind is polarized. Should I go left or right? Should I go to Walmart or Food Line? Should I have this or that? When a situation is ambiguous, I suffer. If it's clear, I just go to Walmart because it's cheaper, well, no problem. But what if, and I'm just using this as a metaphor, but what if the two objects I'm looking for are of absolutely equal value? Which do you want, this or that? Well, you can't choose if it's ambiguous. And ambiguity means that not you have either or, but that either or is the same thing, but they're two. So ambiguity is the one that is two. So you can't choose in an ambiguous situation. And that creates anxiety and mental suffering, and it results in violence. People shoot themselves over this, unable to get out of the polarity of the mind, the war of the mind against itself, the war of the world. You are the world and the world is you. So all wars are wars in your mind. There is no war in nature. It's all in our mind. And we live in a cultural mind. We live in a culture created by thought. We live in a thought society. And thought is polarized. The thought is a duality delivery system. Thought is a polarizing operating system. To think is to polarize. If I want to go there, there is here. There is no there without a here. There is no here without a there. Everything comes in pairs, like on Noah's Ark. Everything is this or that. So we have to choose there or here. Which do you want? Do you want to go there or do you want to stay here? Choose. Well, if there's evidence or you weigh, well, there's more benefit in going there than staying here, I'll go there. Or there's more benefit to stay here than there, I'll stay here. No problem. But what if they're equal? What if they're ambiguous? What if there and here are the same but two? And that's what a seesaw is. It's two that is one. You can't have a seesaw unless you have both ends. Take one off, you don't have a seesaw. Shoot the other guy, get out a gun and shoot him, there's no more you, because you are the seesaw. You see, that's the irony. I am the polarity, so getting rid of my enemy doesn't get rid of the polarity, get rid of me. So I can't get rid of my enemy because I'll get rid of me. I can't get rid of this guy because I'll get rid of me. I am the seesaw. But I don't see that because I don't sit on the park bench. I don't see that I'm the seesaw, that I'm the polarity, because I'm invested in one end of the polarity. So as long as I'm invested in being on this end and not that end, I'm defined by the other end. The GOP says, well, who are you? Well, we're not Obama. So Obama's, the GOP is on one end and Obama's on the other. So who are you? Well, I'm not the other end. If I get rid of Obama, I'll get rid of me. But then Obama's a metaphor. Then Hillary took the place, And now Dr. Ford takes the other end, you see. So the other end of the polarity is a fill in the blank. It's immigrants, it's the Jews, it's the Catholics, it's the liberals, it's the conservatives, it's the Trumpers, whatever. If you're on one end of the polarity, the other end is fill in the blank. Has to be an enemy though. And now you're in a moral lens. When you see through the moral lens, I'm right and you're wrong. I'm good, absolute, and you're absolute evil. Now we're into a cosmic seesaw of God and the devil, up and down, up and down, up and down. The only way out is to find the park bench. And that's the spiritual path, the path of meditation. Awakening the awareness that rises from the park bench immediately when you give up identifying with one end of the seesaw. Give up identifying with the left or the right, and you will be on the park bench. Bam! You will see what to do. You will know what to do. You will know what's right for you. There won't be any argument. There won't be any need for evidence. There won't be anything except knowing. The park bench view is that of knowing that doesn't need evidence in order to support the knowing. The park bench view is free from knowing, free from content, because it holds the content. So content here is divided. In the polarized society, the same content, but it's divided into two views. And because we identify now with reality as being polarized, we just kick the polarity down the road with every new event in the news. Every new event in this calf this week, next week it'll be something else. And Trump, of course, his strategy is to create the seesaw so that the confusion and the violence gets kicked down the road. Because if you're polarized and you can't choose, what do? If you can't decide if you want cereal or eggs in the morning, what do? Well, you ask your wife, oh, what do you think I should have? When my father, who was a chooser. He was a naval captain. He always knew what was right and what to do. He had a stroke. Physically all right, but he couldn't choose. Go to the dinner table, fine. Put the menu there, the restaurant. What would you like, Gus? That was his name. Well, you choose. And my mother would choose. She became the chooser. That's what happens when you're in a polarized society and you can't choose. You refer to some authority. And that's Trump's strategy. If everything is fake, who knows the truth? Well, I know the truth, so I'll choose for you. Okay, I can't choose. So the strategy of the polarity is to keep the polarity going. Because it creates a savior who will choose for you and make and restore you to certainty. In ambiguity, this is ambiguity. Ambiguity. The terror of ambiguity in our society is very great because when it's ambiguous, you can't choose. And if you can't choose, there's no you. In our society, I am because I choose. I'm free because I have choices. If there's no choice, I'm not free. You see, I have to be able to choose. So society offers not 2 cereals, 1,000,000 cereals. So choices keep proliferating because we believe if I have more choices, I'll be more free. More choices, more free. So choices just keep dividing. The cereal starts out with 1, 2 cereals. Now that you keep 2, now 4. It increases exponentially. The Hurt Locker was all about this. The Iraqi veteran comes back and he goes to the cereal market and he looks at a canyon of cereal and he can't even choose. He just grabs one, I don't care. So, we're looking at the hell of a polarized society, and that's where we live today. And this Kavanaugh polarizing event is national. It's big, it's angry, it's violent, and it will have continued momentum down the road, whichever way we go. But we love, you see, we love our polarity. We don't want to find the park bench. Why? Because we have invested ourselves in being liberal or conservative, Christian or secular. These 2 fundamental positions are our identity. And once you have your identity, you're invested in an end of the seesaw. Once you invest your identity, yourself, your reality, your world, your sanity on a particular end of the seesaw, now the seesaw becomes the way you find identity, by having a war with the other end. It's endless. The teachings of Christianity through Jesus is about the park bench. That's where Jesus sits. What does he say? Love the other end of the seesaw, and you'll be suddenly on the park bench. Accept the other end of the seesaw as your reflective opposite, and you'll be on the park bench. And you'll know who you are and what to do next. Creatively, not conditioned. These are conditioned positions because the polarity is a conditioning that shapes our world as it moves along. So polarity shapes America as it moves along through time, using the ingredients of the moment for the recipe of this 2-layer cake. It's a 2-layer cake, so it uses whatever's given at the moment to create the 2 opposite layers. It's a great metaphor. Work with it. Thanks for dropping in.